Hey, I'm Scotty and I'm going to show you how to improve your urban sketching with dynamic line work and expressive watercolor techniques. So first with the line work, I've got 3 techniques that you can try to see if it makes your urban sketching more dynamic. The first technique I use is by setting a time limit, which helps me give faster, more expressive lines. So with this reference, I'm going to try and sketch each figure here in about 2 minutes. Okay, so I've started my timer. I've got 2 minutes to draw this person here. Okay, I'm just coming around the shoulder and I'm looking at the silhouette here. I'm not focusing on all the details just yet. It's the knee coming up like that. And then the shoe. So I'm sort of trying to capture the feeling and the gesture, not all the details. Okay, and then the arm here. So now I can go back and I've got the main shape. I can go back and do some of these details that were within the silhouette. Okay. That's the arm. Okay, so now into the face. Just trying to get it really simple. So I've got the brow and then the nose and then the lips. Just put a dot for the eye there. A little bit of an eye, top eyelid. Okay, so it's very rough, but I've got that figure in. So I love the dynamic feel of this, even though it only took me 2 minutes and it's very rough. I think overall it's going to make this scene look really good. So my next tip I recommend you try is sketching with one-line segments. So you've probably heard of the one-line method, but in my version, you don't try and draw everything in one line. You stop where it makes sense and then you keep drawing in other parts. So I might draw the head in one line, then I might draw the body in one line, stop, and that really helps with the flow of the line. Okay, so I'm going around here, around there, and that's the chin. So I have to stop where it makes sense for me to stop. Come down here, and the bottom is about the same as the other. So coming down here, I'm just focusing on those main shapes and silhouettes, trying to get them matching what I'm seeing. Now I can go in and break up some of the details. The chair, which I forgot on my other figure. I have to go back and do the chair. Okay. And then let's draw the ear. Little hint of there of the face, and then the ice cream. Try to bring it out a bit more so you can see that. Just add some wrinkles here. So I've got some time to spare. The next figure I'm going to actually squeeze in here. The head is really important to start with because I feel like that when you get that head length, you can determine the rest of the body. So let's go here. Maybe he's got a bee here or something like that. Okay. And then the table. Something there, and then I can see his legs, so I'm just going to have a guess. It comes down, his body probably comes down to about there. And then I think it's just some lines in there will help. even though you don't know what they are. And then I'll go into his face now. So I'll find his hairline, which is about there. Then I can split between the hairline and the chin. So I'll go brow and then the nose. Then I've got 3 parts. So the eyes, just a little line. Make it a bit. Let's do the glasses. Okay. So the last technique to try is with dynamic line work. If you're drawing an arm, you could draw it like this. So this arm looks very blocky. If I was to draw it in a dynamic way, I would be using lots of little wiggly lines, so where the elbow is, where the wrist is, and if I had to look up at the reference, I might just do a little line like that. So here I've got wiggly lines here. I might go over the line a little bit more as I'm looking up, and it makes a dark spot. I'm trying to make it very dynamic and very expressive. Okay, moving on to the standing figure, using those 3 techniques, and especially looking at how I'm using the one line technique, looking up now. Okay, so I've got the head here, and I'll skip that part of the arm because I'm not really sure what's going on. And then got the leg here, so I'll go over to this side. See that? Okay. So you can see here the line work. I really tried to show that expressive line work there. So now I've got the arm here. And whenever I'm looking back up at the reference, or if I was sketching outside, I can do those little kind of wiggly lines. Should be looking at a map or probably a menu. Looks like a tourist. Okay, and then she has a bag on, of course. Okay, so I've got a bit of time to do the face. And that's where I want to be as convincing as possible. So just using really simple lines here. Okay, now I want to fit the next figure just in this side of the page, so it might overlap a little bit. Okay, starting at the top again. She's got a bag out here. Might lose a bit of the bag. So get that head length, chin. It's important. Now going straight down here. Little wiggly line there to show where the shorts are. Okay, so I know that because I started her a little bit lower, probably the shoes are a little bit lower than the figure here. So I want this bag to look like the shoulders up here. So go back into the detail where I missed. So put the ear in, does that look right? Get that shape in there. And then so there's 2 figures in. I think the speed here, which I was pressured to do each sketch, really helped. Focusing on the main shapes and just getting things in really quickly. I used the one-line segments with the approach of doing wiggly, expressive, interesting lines. So now to give it a bit of context, I'll add some background. Bush over here, and then a gate. I've just simplified it a lot like that. And then the doorway feature might just go like this. I think that fits within my frame a bit better. Okay, so now I want to add a really dynamic wash, but I want to give it a similar feel to my line work. So I've created a really light wash here. So I'm going to start with not brushing, but just dabbing. I've got a bit of red over here, so I'll dabbing around. And I'm not worried about if I go over the lines, create a few little dots around the place with the same color. I find that if I follow the exact shapes, it ends up being quite tight. So my second tip is to leave lots of white, not adding watercolor to every single part of the sketch. Leaving white areas and you're seeing the edge of the watercolor is really beautiful. And if you've got a Posca marker, they're really good for adding some details, these final highlights. Keep it the same loose technique that we've been using. You can add little dots. Thanks to my supporters on Patreon, my Sketching Scholars tier requested an in-depth tutorial on how to sketch a face. So I'm working on that and that'll be out soon. But if you're having trouble with sketching seated figures in complex poses, I recommend checking out this video here right now. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.